Hello, my name is Robert Hollis. I want to thank you very much for the Periscope. Today's title is Old School versus New School, okay? And basically around the concept of technology. Now, I used to be an auto mechanic. Now I'm a life mechanic. So if you want to check out this free training in a replay, plus others, just go to lifemechanic.com. And if you want to get a hold of me in any way, shape, or form, right up at the top right-hand corner is how you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on and so forth. So again, the title today, Old School versus New School. Before I get started, I want to tell you why it is so easy for me to accept new school. So I know that each and every one of us are brought up in cultures, environments around our family, and we also are around certain individuals that seem to accept change very, very quickly. So here I get into being an auto mechanic, so I get out of trade school, not book smart at all. And I get out and I know a lot about mechanics. Now, one of the things that one of my professors did, one of my mentors probably way before my other mentors was a guy named Professor Mark Betts. Mark Betts was his name. And he was the one that told me, Robert, this is the smartest you're ever going to be in book smarts. So I want you to take these tests. They're called Automotive Service Excellence, or ACE. And basically, people are going to get Automotive Service Excellence. So ASE, right? You got a little gold gear around there. And he said, take these tests now, because if you get out and you're a master automotive technician, you'll get more money per hour than any other auto mechanic. And the reason that we do is, it's out there just basically because now they get to put your plaque on the wall. And, so one of the things that he's taught me is once I got out into the world, that's when, and I know it sounds like, oh my God, I'm really old, but it's like I'm 53, but they started putting computers on cars. And I was working for Toyota at the time, and not only did they turn around and they went out there and put computers on cars, but then they started putting a lot of computers on cars. So now we got not only a computer for the ignition, a computer for the fuel injection, a computer for the exhaust because of fuel emissions. And now all of a sudden you got all these sensors, right? Now, here's something that I want each and every one of you to know about technology and you can look this up, but all technologies and truths always go through three stages. They always go through three stages. First, it's ridiculed. Everybody laughs at it. And that's just one of the stages it goes through. So believe it or not, this is what I think is so amazing about people that hold on to old school or they don't want to change. Is because, do you guys realize that there used to be people that were burned at the stake and killed because they actually were telling everyone that they believed that the world was round? It wasn't flat? And another thing is, how could this possibly be? Because the earth is the center of the world. And now all of a sudden someone came out and said, wait a minute. I discovered something new. And they're like, what? And they go, I think we all revolve around the sun. No, say it isn't so. You know what I mean? And so this whole concept of someone coming up with an idea that works. See, this is not a really problem. We're talking about things that are not true. And I'll get into where we are today very, very quickly. But when I grew up, guess what? Motors were, which was called naturally aspirated. And I don't want to get too technical, but, water, basically air and fuel just basically went through a carburetor, and through a Venturi effect of speeding up the air, it would suck gas from the fuel bowls into a naturally aspirated motor. Now, I know that some people are going to start watching this and go, wait a minute, this guy's a little more smarter than that guy he says, the dumb auto mechanic from North Dakota, Montana. Well, I do know a little bit about automotive engineering, stuff like that. I still believe that I'm smarter in the automotive world than I am the marketing world. It just doesn't pay very much because there's one person in literal income. There's only so many hours that I can replace for, money. So, again, profits are better than wages. Not getting ahead of myself here, though. But bottom line one of the things is when all of a sudden they were saying, listen, you know what? We want to clean up the air. And California was one of the very first states to do that. And that's what I was working. So they came out with fuel emissions or exhaust emissions on cars. Now, believe it or not, if you didn't make cars for California, they didn't even get in there. And the very first thing they learned is not only Cadillac converters, but actually putting oxygen into the after fuel that reburned it in the catalytic converter to make the exhaust cleaner, so raw gas didn't hurt us or the environment. And in the 1980s, believe it or not, I remember driving back and forth to work on my motorcycle, and the smog was so bad in LA that you couldn't see the mountains. And do you realize that technology, new school, cleaned up the air in California? And so I just want to share with you that just a couple of thoughts that all of a sudden when cars came out, they had computers, everybody, that's too radical. Then the second part is people violently oppose. So it goes from, it's ridiculous, it's stupid, it'll never work, it's a waste of your time, stop it, stop it, stop it. And then all of a sudden, it's like they violently oppose, start calling you names, not to get off track, but I don't know if you guys have been watching some of the presidential, debates, but man, someone comes up with an idea like, hey, let's get rid of the IRS. Let's take 73,000 pages of IRS tax and turn it down to a postcard or turn it down into 2 pages. And it's the same stages. You're ridiculous. That can't be done. And then it's violently opposed. Like all of a sudden when things started going into new school and they went away from carburetors to fuel injection. What? What are you talking about, fuel injection? Because now you just got an electronic injector that's squirting fuel into the cylinder and a computer. See, all of a sudden, the old mechanics, they can't tittle around with it. They can't mess around with it. They can't tune it. There's nothing for them to play with. So it's either, hey, you play with the timing or you get smaller or bigger injectors. End of story. So when you see people, then all of a sudden we know the third phase. So the first stage again is what? It's ridiculed. Second stage, violently opposed. No, you can't do this. You can't do this. Just like with electric cars. You know what I mean? And then the third one, of course, is it's accepted as self-evident. It's like almost where people all of a sudden one day, they all get a pop and go, well, of course. Of course that's the way it is. Now, think about this. If you want to think about anything that's actually like computers, went through the same thing. Here's another one. Internet. When the internet came out, there's still people out there. They're going, oh, the internet is dangerous. It's dangerous. It's like danger, danger. You know what I mean? Some of you know where that came from. But it's like, wasn't it like Will Rogers or something like that? But the whole point is that you got to understand why. Here's the point that I want to get to quickly. Why do you hang on to things and it's easily for you to accept others? Why do you hang on to things and then other things you accept right away? Now, if you're like me, I remember doing it just like everybody else. The story I used to tell about my father-in-law all the time, which is one of the greatest men I've ever met, is I remember him saying that the day that you're so lazy you can't get off your butt to use a remote control. You know what I mean? So when remote controls came out, it's like, come on. If you can't get up and turn that little knob, are you kidding me? You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, it's like, how many people now, if you lose your remote, you don't even know how the TV works. You couldn't find the power or change the channels. It'd have to be done on the cable box or something digital. So I just want you to think about everything in your life and how all of a sudden it just keeps going. And then once you accept it, we all fight it. First of all, we're human. We don't want to learn new things. We just don't want to. I seen Jenny on here and a new partner of ours in the UK. And right away, I said, hey, listen, Jenny, you know what? We need to be using Google Hangouts. Google Hangouts are the bomb, man. They are a flat out bomb. And listen to this, Lisa Grossman, that's a very dear friend of mine, easily makes probably $3 million a year in the direct sales network marketing profession. She had told me for like 6-7 months, Robert, you got to do periscopes. Robert, you got to use periscopes. And I said, listen, what I'm doing, I'm using live stream and I'm using this other thing. He goes, no, periscopes. I'm not periscopes. Google Hangouts, okay? And so you got to understand that technology is here to stay. It's here to stay. And I just want you to ask yourself all the time, why? Why am I fighting this way of doing business? Now, here's one thing that I want you to hear, and I maybe someone can find it on the internet, but it probably was Albert Einstein. But one of the things that was said is like he was saying, when someone says this is the way it's always been done, that's the most dangerous people on the planet. Are you hearing me? Listen to that. The people go, well, it's always been done this way. Well, it's always been done this way. You know what? There's a whole thing on the internet. I don't want to get on a tangent, but you can see how excited I am. But the guy that actually came up with the 5-hour energy, $5-hour energy. And I don't know if it was Rob or one of the people that actually sent me this video, and I watched it. It's a small documentary. And this guy made billions of dollars from the 5-hour energy. And so now what he's done is he's come up with technology that can turn seawater into clean water. He's figured out things where you can pedal on this little bike for an hour. And generate enough power to be able to take care of, charge all your smartphones, your iPads, give you light. And so his whole concept was, wow, if I could find devices where people could power and charge phones, and then we can also power up where you could power a Wi-Fi tower, then you got some of the people like Mark Zuckerberg, billionaire of Facebook, the Google guys, all these guys now are making sure that the world has free Wi-Fi for 3 to 4 billion more people. So now, even though they got free Wi-Fi in their area, if they don't have a way to get a smart device that hooks to Wi-Fi, and they don't have the ability to charge it, then guess what? So, this is a guy that's like constantly thinking, right? And we talk about Elon Musk. I brought this up just the other day on a hangout, where all of a sudden you got a guy that says, I'm going to create an electric car. Yeah. Ridiculous. What are you going to do? Drive 4 blocks, it's not going to be charged? Well, great. We figured that out. Well, okay. So it makes a couple 100 miles. Where are you going to get charged up? We figured that out. Yeah, but it's not fast. Oh, we figured that out. And so you see these people that are so, they just constantly keep figuring it out. It just keeps getting better and better. Now let's talk about our subject, which is on why we're on here. We already talked about, old school versus new school. So let's get to the point of why I wanted to touch this on this Periscope, right? So now, there's people out there that are violently opposed against Periscope. I'm doing Periscope. On some of my Periscopes, 600 people, either live or replays, watch it on periscope.tv. And, when I can do a Periscope like this and actually feed in wisdom and knowledge and all my wisdom, my failures, what I've done, what works, what doesn't work. And there's still people out there that are going, Periscope doesn't work. Well, they used to say that about smartphones. And they used to say that about texting. And they used to say that about YouTube. See, it's amazing to me that, let me just get to the point. Okay, here's the point. I am an entrepreneur. If you want to be an entrepreneur, and let me give you some great qualities about being an entrepreneur. The lifestyle that an entrepreneur has once she generates a passive residual income that comes from loyal, satisfied customers that are buying the product every day. And you got maybe 100, maybe you got 1,000, maybe you got 10,000, eventually 100,000. When you got this passive residual income that comes in off a loyal, satisfied customer base, whether you're working or not, do you realize that Robert Hollis, I have a lifestyle of somebody that's worth a couple $100 million. And this concept is this customer base, right? So if we're going to go out there and expose, if we're going out there and we're going to peak, if we're going to go out there and educate, if we're going to go out there and give wisdom to the masses, the 7 billion people out there, the 7 billion people, then guess what? How would you do that? How would you build a loyal, satisfied customer base? Now, see, if you got a pizzeria, you know what I mean, or you got a Subway franchise, well, how do you do it? Well, it's pretty obvious. You got advertising. You can do it on TV, radio. You can do it in print ads. You can do it on bulletin boards. I want you to think that if your job, what it is your job as an entrepreneur, if your goal and job is to build a loyal, satisfied customer base, how do you do it? Now, let's talk about old school versus new school. And I don't want to beat up old school, but old school used to, when I was young, the biggest box store was a thing called Woolworths. Woolworths, 5 and dime, Woolworths store. Now you guys are knowing really how old I am, right? And so all of a sudden you're in a situation where down Main Street, was all these little mom and pop stores. See, everyone had this mom and pop store. And then all of a sudden, each and every one of you know what happened. All of a sudden, bigger stores started coming together, J.C. Penney's. And all of a sudden, these things started consolidating, right? Well, what do you think blew away all the little stores in my little town of Williston, North Dakota? I mean, now I live in a place that's smaller than where I grew up. And now I live right outside a little town called Laurel, Montana. They got like 2 or 3 stoplights. Maybe there's 6,000, 6,000 people. And so all of a sudden, Walmart. We got a Walmart in Laurel. Boom. So a Walmart comes out and look what happened. I mean, just amazing to me. What happened to all the little stores. And we've heard this forever. That Walmart. Well, I don't know if you guys knew this, but guess what happened just a couple of months ago? Amazon went by Walmart. Amazon went by Walmart as the largest retailer in the world. They're now they're capped. What they're financially worth is worth more than Walmart. Now, I can remember, can you remember? Because I can remember. What do you mean, order it off the internet, have it brought to your house? What? I can get in my car and drive down to Walmart. So now this new concept of internet shopping is not just, well, this is a pretty cool thought. Ladies and gentlemen, it's for real. It's flat out documented. And when you hear from me, you always hear this word, documentation beats conversation. There's people out there that don't want to change, and they don't want to hear about it. I don't want to change. They don't want to hear about it. And then there's this other group that fight it, that violently oppose. But sooner or later, it gets you. Sooner or later, it gets you. My friends, that are in their 60s and 70s, they swore to me they'd never get a cell phone. They'd never get a smartphone. And now I text them, hey, what are you doing? And they're texting me back and forth. These are people that told me less than 3 years ago that they would not have a smart device. And it's like, it's getting them. So now when you look at Amazon, I wanted to pull this up right before we got this. Here are the top 3 companies. The top 3 companies that have the most market share, worth the most. First one's Apple. $713 billion. Okay, next one's Google, 482. Next one's Microsoft, 370. And then we got an old school one in there, Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's company. And then you go down and Walmart's the bottom now at 233, and Amazon now is above J.P. Morgan. Now, a bank. Amazon's 262 billion. And what company is directly above that? Facebook. And so people are like, wow, you know what? Well, I don't like the internet. Yeah, I don't like New School. And it's like, my God, I'm using an Apple phone, using Google Hangouts with Periscope, and then using Facebook to get people, and then having what? Amazon, you know? So I got the tripod this is sitting on. All the stuff I got in here came from Amazon. The lights in here. Like, are you kidding me? And there's still people out there going, well, you know, old school, eyeball to eyeball, belly button to belly button. Well, Google Hangouts. I use Google Hangouts. And I can see people in the eyeballs. You can go to, believe it or not, you can go to RobertHollisInterviews.com and I do Google Hangouts. Or you can go to my YouTube channel. You know, go to LifeMechanic.com, click on my YouTube channel. And now, guess what? I used to do eyeball to eyeball. See, back in the 1980s, I used to use ads in newspaper. I would call them on a landline. Remember the phones that had a line to it? Yeah, it had a line to it, a squiggly line. I only could call them at night because they had to be home. And I would set an appointment to either meet them at a Denny's restaurant or listen here, or I would go over to their home. And you drew it out on a piece of paper. Now all of a sudden my mentor went, wow, not a lot of people are as good as I am. And he recorded it with a recorded it with a camera. You guys remember those cameras that was the size of a suitcase? Now I'm recording off my iPhone. You know, so they had VHS tapes in it. So now I can do a presentation using a VHS tape. Then VHS went to what? DVD. That now went to Blu-ray. Now all of a sudden, Blockbuster's gone. Wait a minute. I used to go to video rental stores. And when you walked in, they go, do you want that on beta or you want that on VHS? No, now I want it on Netflix. I want it on Hulu. I want it through my Xbox. And I don't know why people fight technology, but technology is available in everything we do. So now let's get back to the main point. If the main point is to educate people, introduce yourself to people, get to know them, and you want to do eyeball to eyeball, then in my opinion, you should be using Google Hangout. Well, you know, I like Skype. Okay, great. I used to like pagers. I don't use pagers anymore. I don't use payphones anymore. Time to step up. You see what I mean? So you want to learn how to use Google Hangout. You know how easy Google Hangout is to learn? You know how easy Periscope is to learn? All you got to do is change your attitude. You know what? I want to learn how to do this. I'm going to learn how to do this. Now, some of you are still fighting. You're still fighting technology of learning to build rapport on Facebook. You're still fighting it. Okay, so Robert used to go out face to face in the streets. He used to walk around the First Interstate building. Excuse me. Yeah. Hi, my name's Robert. You work around here? Yeah, in the First Interstate building. Listen, I was wondering if you could help me out. Sure. I'm helping expand a business in the area, and we're looking for people that want to make extra money, if not a lot of money. Could you help me out? And it's like, Robert, you know, I heard you did it face to face. Yeah, but I don't want to anymore. I don't want to use a landline. I don't want to use a payphone. I don't want to use a pager. Pager. Look at the number. Come on. It's like, this is ridiculous. And people are like, well, I just want to hang on to the old times. Why? If your job is to go out and deliver an effective presentation to as many people as you can, as fast as you can, why wouldn't you use a YouTube video? Why wouldn't you use a video that's online? Now, this is just for sorting. See, so you pique their interest. Then what you do is you build relationship. You go back and forth, and you're a giver, a go-giver. If this is one of your first Periscopes, go to lifemechanic.com, click on blog, find out what I'm talking about. People don't care what you know unless they know that you care. Now, once you build that rapport, asking them to do you a huge piece of favor and watch a few videos that are very short. That's the way I sort. It wouldn't be any different if I was in the street 25 years ago, and while I'm standing there, I go, "Hi, how are you? Don't bother me." All right, no problem. So people go, "Well, I pique people's interest on Facebook, and then all of a sudden they won't watch the videos." So what? So what? So you want to learn how to use technology. So for some of you out there that, with the Google Hangouts, they say eyeball to eyeball, belly button to belly button. You know what I mean? Well, on a Google Hangout, you're seeing my eyes, the eyes. I don't need my belly button touching yours. So if you don't think that I can build rapport, if you don't think I can build a relationship, in the company that I just joined, I checked out before I got on this Hangout. I'm already in 11 countries. 11 countries in 2 months. 11 countries in 2 months. I haven't been to Australia. I haven't been to New Zealand. I haven't been to Hong Kong. I haven't been to Korea. I haven't been to Norway. I haven't been to UK. I haven't been to Ireland. Are you kidding me? And people are like, "Well, you got to do, eyeball to eyeball, belly button to belly button." I want to share this with you. I don't want to beat up old school because old school made me millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. But guess what? The art of what I do is to get people results. Get them results and get them results fast. And if I can find a way to pique interest faster, get them the knowledge that they need faster, then you got to adopt a new technology. We talked about Amazon. When you look at these companies now, I brought this up just the other day. Let me do this new school for you and see if you don't get it. If you have a Facebook profile, did you do a 3-way call with Mark Zuckerberg? Did someone call you up and say, "Hey, you know what? Have you heard of Facebook?" No. Well, hey, listen, let's meet down at the local Denny's, or let's do a home meeting. And let me talk to you a little bit about Facebook. Then, if you like what you hear, I'm going to get you on a 3-way call with Mark Zuckerberg. Now, so not only did you get on Facebook, and some of you, what? Some of you said it was ridiculous. There's still people out there. "I'll never get a Facebook profile." Whatever, dude. I don't care. Well, they'll get my privacy. You know what I mean? They'll come and take my, flowers away out of my backyard. Well, come on, man. You're like, "Well, they're going to get my social security number." They already got your social security number. Stop making up excuses to move into the 21st century. You know what I mean? It's like, people are like, "Yeah, but my credit card, you know what I mean? I got my credit card, and if I put my stuff online, they'll steal it." No, you sit at a restaurant, and then a waitress comes over, and they say, "How do you pay for that?" And they give you this little black leather thing, and you take your credit card, and you put it in there, and the girl disappears. Or the guy disappears. You don't even know where they went, and you don't even know the person's name. And they're back there, all right, get all the information off your card. Wow, you're never going to go to a restaurant again? So come on, these people that are fear mongers blow my mind. And here's one thing that I want you to think about. I want you to think, why do I think this way? Why do I think this way? Second question to ask is, how do I know this? See, when I hung around a guy named Roger Penske, my first billionaire mentor, I was in the racing world. And where I got prepped for this stuff is we were changing stuff every month. Our goal was to make the fastest cars. Roger Penske won 15 Indianapolis 500s with 10 different drivers. There's nobody that's won more Indianapolis 500s and than Roger Penske. There's no one that's won more world championships in all of motorsports than my mentor, Roger Penske. And the guy's changing. New stuff. New idea. New stuff. We always had one car that was always the fastest. Then we had one car that had stuff that we won with plus experimental stuff. And then we had one car that was all experimental. And as soon as this experimental car became faster than this one, they switched spots and we kept doing it. New stuff. Now, get this. Do not, listen to me very closely, do not test stuff that's not documented. Just because I still got people every day, now that I'm getting bigger and bigger on the internet, people go, wow, you know what? I can show you how to get traffic. Traffic does not equal sales. I can get you leads. Leads do not equal sales. Well, I'm going to buy leads. Buying leads do not equal sales. Just because you got traffic, just because you know what? I'm going to get you to the top of the search engines. Give me money and I'll get you top of the search engines. That doesn't equal sales. People out there, even though there's high technology, you want to use high tech and high touch. High tech and high touch. You want to use technology to find people. Then you want to build a rapport. Then you want to get them to a place where it's reciprocity. You're getting them to know, like, and trust you. And then from there, you can bring them into the 21st century. So now, let's cover one more thing before I close out the Periscope. Would you agree as an entrepreneur? Here's what I want you to agree with. If you agree as an entrepreneur, there's two things that you want. Two things. One is loyal, satisfied customers. So you got to find a way to expose as many people as fast as you can, as quick as you can. All right? We want to get satisfied customers. Then the second part that you want to do, which is awesome, is wouldn't it be neat to also find loyal, satisfied customers that could refer you to other people that need to subsidize or double or replace their income? So the only two things that I'm doing every day, all day, is working with leverage, helping and teaching other people to subsidize or double or replace their income. Once I help them get results, now I'm making money off their loyal, satisfied customer base and their leverage. So that's the two things I'm doing every day. So if that's what you want to do, and that's what I want to do, I want 1 million satisfied customers. That's my first goal. I want 1 million loyal, satisfied customers that are buying my products and services every month, like clockwork. And so if 1 million customers, are doing $100 in volume, that's what, 10 or $100 million? If I get a percentage of that, which is around 10 to 12%, then guess what? I'm doing fine. That's now $1 million a month. Did you guys catch that? That's $1 million a month. I want to start there. So every day I get up and I go, where can I find people to talk to? Where can I find people to message? Where can I find people to build a rapport with? Where can I get? So now it's all based off who can I find and get them exposed to it. Now, because this is new technology, I'm going to run into people that are going to go, I don't want to watch videos. I want to duplicate. See, my goal is the faster I can get people to use new technology, then that not only puts me in a place, but puts you in a place. See, I'm thinking about you even though you're not thinking about you. See, you want to do what is called the end. Think of the end. Where are you going to be 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years from now? So 5 years from now, if you were making $1 million a month, some of you are going, hey, I'd be okay with $1 million a year. Do you want to set it up doing things today that you're conditioning and teaching and training people to duplicate that takes away all of your time? So it's like 5 years from now, do you want to be making $1 million a year and still every day of the week still be doing home parties? Because if you start that now and you teach everybody how to do that, then you're still doing it. Do you want to teach everything? My mentor never did that. My mentor never ever asked me to do a home party. My mentor never asked me to do a 3-way call. My mentor never ever asked me to do weekly meetings in a hotel. 28 years ago, my mentor went, if I teach Robert how to do 3-way calls, and he starts getting me on 3-way calls, then I'm always going to have to be doing 3-way calls. And if I get 5 people, how many people want 5 people? Successful people. How many people want 10? How many people want 100? All of a sudden, if you're constantly got all these people that are calling you on a 3-way call, you have no time. You have no time. You're sitting with your spouse. You're sitting with your children. You're enjoying a vacation. Hey, can you do a 3-way call? Hey, can you do a 3-way call? Hey, can you do a 3-way call? Why would you set that up if you didn't like it? So again, home meetings, are they duplicatable? No. 95% of the people don't want to ever speak in front of people. Never. It doesn't make a difference. They want to make a full-time income, but they don't want to speak in front of the group. You say, hey, BJ, you know what? Isn't one of your goals to speak on stage and do a presentation, you know what I mean, in front of like 500 people? No. Well, you got to get there to make money. See, the person with the chalk makes the cash. Come on. That's not true. So you not only want to ask yourself, where does this come from? So BJ, different with you, yes. So the difference is very simple, is that you want to do things. Now, here's really where I'm going to get some people mad at me. If you can prove to me that I have to do old school stuff to be successful, now I'm listening. But there's not one old school person out there that can prove to me that I have to do old stuff to be successful. Not one. And the people, and I'm not going to call them out, but the people that are teaching old school, this is a crack up. Listen to this. They teach old school. They do a video with a high-tech digital camera. They then have someone download that and edit it and put it on YouTube. Then they use autoresponders to send out emails, digital emails, and tell everybody that they did a video on old school that they put on YouTube. Then they go on Facebook and they post a video on Facebook to get people to go to their blog with the digital video on their blog. Oh, by the way, if you want me to help you to become successful, put your name and your email address in my blog so I can communicate with you. And don't forget to like, comment, and share my digital video on Facebook. But do old school. Come on. Oh, by the way, check out my Periscope. You do old school. I'm not going to do old school. Did you guys catch that? That doesn't make any sense to me. So the first thing I want you to think about is A, is it possible? Because when I first started using the internet years ago, the very first group of people that said that this is ridiculous was, believe it or not, the ministry, evangelist, Joyce Myers, Billy Graham, Kenneth Copeland, all these people out there, Joel Osteen, all these people out there was going, internet, no, we can't use internet, eyeball to eyeball, belly button to belly button, they need to come, yay. And then all of a sudden, now if you go check out Joyce Myers, Facebook page, Kenneth Copeland's Facebook page, you heard about Creflo Dollar, he was in a, big minister, just got everyone to buy him a $64 million jet. Now you got Joel Osteen. Go to their Facebook pages. Go to their websites. because they got their sermons online. They got their teaches online. I was just thinking of the other person, Purpose-Driven Life, Rick Warren. I want you guys to find a person right now in this day and age. And we already know where the future's going. You know, Bernie Sanders, look how old Bernie Sanders is running for president as a Democratic person. And Hillary Clinton got beat by Obama by doing Facebook posts and getting people to give him small contributions. Do you know that Bernie Sanders right now has more money for advertising going into the campaign than Hillary Clinton does? Because he's on stage and he said, hey, just check out Bernie Sanders. Just give me $5. Just give me $10. Just give me what you can. Why does people want to fight New School if it can, A, help you? Now we got all these universities that now are teaching people online, including Life Mechanic University. So I could go on and on and on. I just know for a fact that using technology in New School, I want you to think in your mind all the time, why aren't I excited about New School? Why aren't I using New School? Some of you, I know that you're still dealing with worthiness issues, self-esteem issues, self-image deal, feeling worthy. I get it. But when you invest in yourself, and you go through training, then you need to take notes. After you take notes, so you invest in new knowledge and wisdom and training. You deserve it. You should invest in the best investment you got with is you. Then once you invest in yourself and you learn it and you take notes and take down bullet points and what your takeaways are, your next step is to teach it. Your next step is to teach it. Put up a small YouTube video. Hey, guess what? I was listening to Robert Hollis or whoever you like listening to, and they covered a couple things, and I just wanted to share that with you. And you slow but sure build content. You slow but sure build more content than the average person. If you got more content and more videos on your YouTube than the average person, that makes you above average. You got to learn. You got to learn how to find people on Facebook. You got to learn to find people on Facebook. My daughter-in-law, Hannah Hollis, has got a Facebook program out there. Her and my son is, Matthew's 23 years old. She's 20, and they make over $7,000 a month. It's amazing. They understand how to find brand new people on Facebook. If they can do it, you can do it. So, a lot of people say, I'm going to do it, and then what they do is they start taking shortcuts and buying stuff that people tell them that they need from undocumented people that have never taught anyone. And so you got to master new technology, New School. New School is going to help you retire for the rest of your life. New School is going to help you learn how to duplicate and help other people get results fast. And when you got other people that got results and leverage, that's when you really start making way above average income, which each and every one of you deserve to have. So I hope you guys appreciated this, old school versus new school. Again, this is a challenge. This is a challenge to all the people that watch this that are old school people. Your goal is very simply to show me someone that's more documented than I am, that can only prove to me that old school is the only way to do it. I know I want fast duplication. I want fast results. And I can get people results by doing New School. Does that mean that I'm saying old school doesn't work? I am not. See, if I wanted to buy a 69 Camaro, it's still a good car. It's still an awesome car. But man, I love driving my new Rolls-Royce Ghost. It's faster. It's funner to drive. It's got navigation. It's got an incredible stereo system. It's a V12 twin turbo. It's got more horsepower. It's faster in top end speed. It can get to 0 to 60 faster. It doesn't mean that the 69 Z28 Camaro is a bad car. It doesn't. I just like driving with a nice sound system. It's really quiet. I like driving with air conditioning. I like cars that are not only fast, but I like cars that can stop. See, I used to have old cars, and they were fast. I made them fast. I couldn't stop them. I like new brake systems. So I hope that helped you. Each and every one of you have a very, very, very blessed day. Make sure to like, comment, and share this with everyone. It'll be a replay on lifemechanic.com. Go check out the other free training that I have on lifemechanic.com. And also, I have a lot of paid training, too. I have a 27-hour mentorship program to teach each and every one of you exactly how to do it. So God bless each and every one of you. Take care, and see you on the next Periscope, probably tomorrow. Thanks a lot for the hearts, everybody. I appreciate you. Bye-bye.